Nature is full of wonder. Life is one of the most amazing of them all. If you go to the zoo, you will see how diverse life is. There are many creatures with different shapes, size, and colors. Today's lesson will explore the diversity of organisms and the classification of living organisms. So, we will start by discussing the diversity of animals, the diversity of plants, and the diversity of microorganisms. So for the animals, if you look to nature, you can observe the variety among animals with a lot of different characteristics, such as their sizes, their shapes, the environment where they live, and the way of feeding. So for the sizes, we have big animals like bears, rhinoceros, and hippopotami. And we have small animals like beavers, rabbit, and lizard. So for the environment where they live, we have animals live in water like dolphins, crocodiles, and hippopotami. Animals live in land like horses and dogs. Second, the diversity of plant. If we look to plant, we will see that different in lengths and the size of the leaves. So if we have huge trees like palm and kafur, we have short weeds like clover and gargir. The size of the leaves, we have plant with large sized leaves like banana plant, and plant with small sized leaves like molokhia. So the diversity of microorganisms. But first, what are the microorganisms? So microorganisms, they are living organisms that can't be seen by the naked eye, but they spread everywhere around us in water, air, and soil. And microorganisms exist in pond water and can only be seen with the microscope, like amoeba, which move by pseudopods, meaning false legs. Eaglina, which moves by flagellum. This is the flagellum. And the paramecium, which moves by cilia. So let's look at them under the microscope. Here the amoeba moves by expanding its body, so it doesn't have a real moving organ. Here the Eugulina and Paramecium. Notice the cilia of the Paramecium and the flagella of the Eugulina. And now, after we saw how diverse life is, so we understand why we need to classify them. So due to the enormous diversity in living organisms, we must classify them to facilitate or ease their study. And the science responsible for that is known as taxonomy. So we start the classification of living organisms by the classification of plants, and we classify them according to their external shape and the way of reproduction. So for the external shape, we have plants are distinguished into roots, stem, and leaves, like plant, palm trees, kafur, maize, which is the corn, and wheat. And we have plants that don't distinguish into roots, stem, and leaves, like brown algae, green algae, and red algae. And according to the way of reproduction, we have plants reproduce by forming of spores, which are the fungus, like Agentum and Voyager. And see those buckets? Those are the buckets that contain the spore for this plant. These buckets explode and the spores release into the air. And then we have a plant that produce seeds. They divide into gymnosperm, and they are non-flowering plant that their seeds are formed inside cones. So they don't form flowers. Gymnosperm don't form flowers, but instead their seed stored in cones. And the angiosperm, they are the flowering plant. So gymnosperm, like Cyax plant and pine plant, and those are the cones. The angiosperm are divided into dicotyledon and monocotyledon. The dicotyledon, like bean plant and pea plant, and monocotyledon, like maize and wheat. And the cotyledon is this tiny part of the seed, which is the first part to appear above the ground, the two tiny leaves that appears. And dicotyledon because they have two leaves, and monocotyledon because it has one leaf. Second, the classification of animals. We classify them according to their body supporting, and the number of teeth, and the number of legs in arthropods. So the nature of body supporting, we have animals, they have soft body. They don't have any hard support, like jellyfish, octopus, earthworm, and starfish. We have animals that have external body support, like crabs, snails, and mussels. And we have animals, we call them vertebrate, which have internal vertebral column, like horses, frog, fish, the birds, and the lizard. And some animals are characterized by the presence of an internal support and an external support, like turtles. Second, the number of legs in the arthropods. So the arthropods, they are invertebrate animals that are characterized by the presence of joint leg. The insect. Okay, so we have first insect. They have 3 pairs of joint legs, have 3 pairs of legs. 1 pair, second pair, and the third pair. We have arachnids. They characterized by 4 pairs of joint legs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have myriapods. They characterized by, as you see, numerous numbers of legs. Last, we classify the animals according to the number of teeth. So we have teethless mammals, edentals, like the sloth, and armadillos. Second, we have mammals. They having teeth are divided according to the shape, the kind, and the number of teeth. So we have animals, they have front teeth extending outward, like the headwig, to capture insects. We have mammals, they have pointed canines and molars with sharp projection, the animals that eat flesh, like lions. And animals that have sharp incisors, those front teeth, and they're divided according to the number of incisors in each jaw, to rodent and lagomorphs. So rodent have one pair of incisors in each jaw. So the upper jaw and the lower jaw have only one pair, like the rat, jerboa, and squirrel. The lagomorph, they have two pairs in the upper jaw and one pair in the lower jaw, like the rabbit. So this is called Linnaeus, and he's the man who first person to classify the living organism, and he used the word species as a general system for the classification of organisms. And the species is a group of living organisms. They are similar in shape, live in the same place, but the most important aspect of a species, they can reproduce and give birth to new fertile individuals. So the species, the group of living organisms, live together. When they reproduce, they give a fertile individual, an individual who can again give birth. So the horse and donkey, we not consider them as one species, because when they intercross, they give fertile individual called mule. But all dogs with different shapes, colors, sizes are one species, because an interaction and intercourse can happen between any two dogs, whatever their shapes or colors, and give a fertile dog. And that's why all human, African, European, and Asian, whatever their color, race, or home, belong to the same species, humans.